Hello there, my zealots. This is Joshua coming at you today. Hey, what's going on? So, there's been a question posed, and it is in response to one of my videos, and it's from a person I really trust and I really care about, and I know that loves God, but I believe it's a subject matter that needs to be discussed because so few people are addressing it, and it's obviously if it's bothering my friend who is incredibly devout, then it's bothering a lot of other people too. And she is, because the Bible strictly talks about how women are supposed to have a husband, they're supposed to have children, and they're supposed to take care of their households, and that's supposed to be the primary focus. Okay, is taking care of their husbands, taking care of the family, and bringing up children and stuff like that. That is their primary focus. But her issue was, it's like, why give women intelligence if they are, supposed to be subservient, that they're supposed to be, serving another man or serving a man and not living their own lives or not having their own independence. Why would God do this? I'm like, well, that's interesting. And it took me a while to figure this out, but there is actually relevance to a concept called hypergamy. And why doesn't God make women dumber than men is because, well, women actually choose men that are smarter than women. Or the women choose men that are smarter than them. That's what hypergamy is they find men that are better than them. Hypogamy, or I think I'm spelling that, hypogamy is the opposite, where men are finding women that are dumber or of lower status than them. That's just how it works. And you'll find that women that challenge this concept of why make women so much more brilliant than men is because you're in a relationship where you're with a man that is dumber or of less status or of less spiritual power than you. If you have a man that is inferior to you, then of course it's not going to make any sense, because you're not seeking after men that has greater authority to you. It's funny, like you're supposed to be, if you have greater authority than your husband, and yet God tells you you have to have less authority than your husband, you're going to think, well, why doesn't he just take a stand? I'm like, well, you've picked the wrong guy. That's the problem. It's like if you have your husband, and so what women are supposed to do is, like, listen, you find out what you're passionate about, right? And then you find a guy that has a similar passion to you, and then you're like, hey, I'm going to hook up with him, and I'm going to follow him, and he's going to lead me where I want to go. That's what you're supposed to do. But if you're like, I'm going to go where I want to go, and you go where you want to go, and then you're like trying to find a husband that'll come with you, then obviously you've already missed the boat. You're going to find somebody that's less than you because you're already leading. Just the way it works. If you want to maintain this, if you want to maintain what Scripture says is the authority structure, you have to abide by the concepts, the precepts that it's talking about. You want a godly man, you have to find somebody more righteous, more spiritually understanding, has more direction than you. You have to submit. You have to have a guy that's of less in every, or you have to find a man that's greater than you in everything. And that's really what happens, like across the board. And this also ties into polygamy, and the reason is because on a bell curve, the bell curve for women's intelligence kind of goes like this, okay? But men's intelligence goes zzz, okay? It's far greater reaching, but it has narrower ends. And let me explain this to you. Like, it means this. It means that there are far more geniuses than there are in men than there are in women. But there are far more idiots in men than there are in women, okay? And if women are practicing hypergamy, that would mean that they would be weeding out all the stupid men and only marrying the smart men, or the men of greater intelligence than themselves. And that would mean that only the smart few would have multiple wives and the dumb few would have none. Okay, and this is why the Bible allows for men to live as eunuchs, and it's a righteous path to not take a wife and then just walk as God directs you without ever being married. However, God also allows for polygamy. This is why men can have more than one wife, because they are of higher status, and so the higher the status they have, whether it be economically, politically, intellectually, spiritually. I mean, if you have this higher status, then women should be coming to you, and you should take them as wives. That's the whole point of hypergamy, is to find somebody better than you. And men practice hypogamy, which is finding people of less status than you and marrying them. That's why this all works the way it does. I wanted to bring this up because it was a valid point. And in respect, it's like, why did make men? She said, why make women so much? Why make women brilliant? I'm like, well, if a woman is brilliant, she needs to find a man that is more brilliant than her. And according to the studies out there are far more brilliant men than there are women. If you want a man that's righteous, then you need to find a man that is more righteous than you. And if a man is already married, then it doesn't matter. You still need a righteous husband, and that should not be the thing that bars you from marrying them. It's just this is the design that God has implemented, and it goes contrary to our social upbringing. But it doesn't mean that it's ungodly. It just means that it's alien and we're not used to it. But this is how the Bible is supposed to be implemented. So anyway, I'm Joshua. I hope this blesses you. Saturdays, 10 o'clock, we have the live stream, Pacific Standard Time. Leave a comment, share, subscribe, click the dingy thingy so that way you get annotations that I'm making these things. And I love God because I love virtue, justice, and salvation. You guys have a great day. Bye.